guys, today I'm going to be talking about Chapter 7, Continuous Random Variables and or Standard Normal Distribution. It goes by either name. So I'm going to start with what the mean is. So our mean is just the sum of x divided by n. Our medium is the middle value. The mode is the most frequent value. Your standard deviation is with the formula of the square root of the sum of x minus u and then squared divided by n. So then our z-score formula is z is equal to x minus u divided by our standard deviation. So x would be like a number that's given, u would be our mean that's usually given, and our standard deviation is just the standard deviation, and that's also usually given in questions. So our normal distribution, this is what it looks like. It's pretty much just a this is what it's always going to look like, since a normal distribution always looks the same if it's perfectly normal. So 0.05 on the left and on the right just means and just shows how a normal distribution is perfectly symmetrical. And then you'll find that the mean, median, and mode is always at the center. So the middle line is, so if you ever draw, like for a question, it's important to draw and you do a middle line, just make sure that that middle line is your mean, the median, or mode, but throughout the whole chapter it's going to be your mean. So just make sure that middle line is with your mean. You can write the mean there. And then yeah, I'll describe more things about the normal distribution as we go down. So describing the z-score table. So the z-score table helps you identify the probability, the area, the probability or area. They kind of mean the exact same thing with normal distributions. So there's two types of z-score distributions. We have the negative right here, what's in red, and then we have the positive on the right, which is in green. And so the reason why we have a positive or negative is because if I go back to the example here, if we want to find something that's on this side that I'm drawing right now, on the left side of your mean, that's going to be using a negative z-score, since it's going to be negative. Z-score just means under the mean, and then a positive would be above the mean. So once you find your z-score, so you, like I said before, this is the formula to calculate your z-score. Just plug in your notes, your x usually given, your u usually given the mean, divided by the standard deviation. Then that's going to give you either a positive or a negative. And so let's say, for example, we find a negative z-score. Let's say it's, for this example, I'll use negative 1.69. And then the trick is here is to find on the z-score, it shows the first two decimals, not the first two decimals, the first two numbers of your z-score. So let's say the number was 1.6, so your first two numbers are 1.6. Sorry if it's a little blurry, but this is kind of the best picture for a z-score table. So 1.6, and then on the top over here is your third or your second decimal or third number of your z-score. So in this case it would be 9, I believe it's 1.69, yeah. And then all you want to do is find out where they touch or where they meet. So they're going to meet at some point, and then that's going to be 0.0455. So let me just write that down. So has a probability of 0.0455, and that means the area to the left. So let's say like this line over here is 1.69 or negative 1.69, since it's to the left of the mean. That means the area that's in blue to the left of that is an area of 0.45, or it could be in a percentage. So 0.045 times 100 would be 4.55%. So or 4.55%. So what that means is the area here is 4.55% out of 100. So this all the way to here is 100. Just this small part is only 4.5% of your whole normal distribution. So if you want to find, so what you can also do with this is, let's say you find this area to the left of the thing, because your z-score is always going to give you, let me write that down just so you guys can really understand. So I believe I have it, yeah, so here z tables give only the area to the left, so I'll highlight that because it's really important. So even if you're doing negative, even if you're doing the positive z-score table, it's always going to give you the area to the left, because this is important to know, because sometimes you want to find the area to the right. So in this example, we found the area to the left, but if we want to find the area to the right, let's say the whole area that's in green, all you would do is, once you find the area to the left, you just do 100 or 1, so or 1 minus 4.55, or 1 minus 0. I believe 0.455, and that's just going to give you the exact same thing. So 100 minus 4.55 is 95.45%. Then 1 minus that should be 0.9545 not percent, but in decimals. So yeah, that's something good to know if you ever want to find the right side of a z-score value, the area to the right of it, I should say. So I'll do another example with a positive. So let's just use for simplicity score, I'll do a random number actually, so I'll just do 2.74. So let's say I calculate that, and once again, I'm using the formula of x minus u divided by your standard deviation. And then once I find that, I see that it's a positive. To repeat myself again, so it's very clear for you guys. It's positive, and I would know that because, or I would use the positive because my z-score is positive, and positive also means your z-score, so the line here, which is a z-score, is pretty much just the line that separates it, is going to be, and it's like pretty much how far, so your z-score, represents how far you are away from your mean. So this would be your z-score. And so like I said, once you have 2.74, you want to find on the left side of the table is your two numbers. So I'll do it in green. So 2.7, the first two numbers, and then on top it's the third number or the second decimal. So 4, and then I find out where they meet, and then that's going to give me the area or the probability to the left. So once I could see that it's 0.9969, so we could say that this area is 99.69% of your normal distribution. So I hope that makes sense. And like the example I gave on the before, if this is 99.69%, the area to the right would be 1 minus your area to the left, so 100 minus 99.69, and this would be 31.31%. And so this is important to calculate the probability. If you want to calculate, let's say a question is like, what is the probability so let's say they give you a value of your mean, they give you your standard deviation, and then you want to say, what is the probability of these people having a mark lower than X? So if you use the word, if the question uses the word lower, that means you want to find to the left of that number. So that number would be replaced as X, and then you find your z-score according to that, and then you find the probability to the left, and that would represent the probability of people getting a score under that. So here are the steps to answer chapter 7 questions. So these are the steps I use throughout the whole COMM 210 course, and it's very helpful, these steps, I find, for myself. And it helps you if you have no idea what to do. Like, let's say if there's a lot of information on the question, this helps you simplify and analyze it a lot easier. So the first thing I like to do is to write your knowns. So usually you're given your x, usually you're given your u, and your standard deviation. This could differ depending on the question. So the second thing I like to do is to draw my question. The third step is to find your z-score with the knowns. So like I said, that's what I was trying to explain before. So so once you find that, you want to pick your correct table to find associated area / probability. These two names or words mean the exact same. And just be careful, like I said before, Z tables give only the area to the left. So if you want to find the area to the right, it's just 1 minus that decimal, or 100 minus the percentage. So if you're trying to find an area to the right, like I said here, I'll highlight it again for you guys. 1 minus the area. So then 4, you could pretty much answer the question once you find that area. I believe there was another type of question that they might ask. So let's say they might ask, like, what is the number of people that are above? So they're not asking for the area, they're asking for the amount of people associated with that area. So what you would do is the exact same step. So once you find your area, I'll write it, so you find the area, and then they want to find the number associated with that area. So let's say, like I said before, they want the area to the right, or the probability to the right of 11, and they also want to find how many people would be above that. So you could do this by finding so you would have to find your area, and then all you have to do is just take your sample size, your n, with other formulas. So your n times the area, and that would give you pretty much this. So I believe that's it. Yeah, so that's it for chapter 7. Chapter 8, I kind of go more in depth on how to use your normal distributions if you guys are a little confused. But hopefully you guys could leave a comment if you have any questions, and yeah.